Good morning, viewers and listeners. We are live, and welcome to the Football Friday NFL Draft Prospect Preview Show presented by Sports Illustrated on the NFL Draft Bible platform. I am your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and we have a great showcase of young talent for you today that we're going to interview. Of course, this is always a great time of the year for us. It's actually our busy season. This is when we really are ramped up. We're following all of the college all-star games. The draft is in a few months, so that's our biggest event that we attend and we cover. So it's going to be something that we'll all have an opportunity to experience together. And as I said, as always, we're here to educate you and entertain you. But like I said before, we have four very young, aspiring, talented young men that we're going to introduce you to today. Of course, we're going to have Mr. Barry Wesley from Colorado State come up. We're going to have also Mark Robinson from Ole Miss come up, a linebacker. We'll have Ben Adler, offensive guard from K-State, come up, big boy. Then we'll also have Ben Niesner. Punter from Valpo, from the state of Washington, who is a very decorated punter, and we'll talk up to him as well. So with that being said, I mean, this is the week of Super Bowl. So as we have this big week coming up, with the Super Bowl, we're going to get their predictions as well. We're not going to let them off the hook when it comes to that. I want to get their predictions. We want to get their ideas of what they expect their futures to be on the next level. So with that being said, I got super producer Sam in the back bringing in the talented young men, and I'm ready right now. There we go. We got our first guest for the day. I got my man, Mr. Barry Wesley today. How are you doing, Barry?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me a part of the show. I'm really excited.
Hey, we're excited to have you, man. I mean, we're, very excited to hear your story. I mean, you have, number one, congratulations on being a newly minted father. Tell me what boy or girl, and what was the weight?
So we actually, my fiance, she's just entered the third trimester.
Oh, third. Okay.
Yeah, so we're a little early, but we don't want to know the gender yet. We want to keep it a surprise. We feel like with modern technology, there's so many things that
old school, man.
So we want to keep it a surprise. So we don't know, and we'll find out. The approximate due date is April 24th.
Okay, all right. Old school, man. You want to do it the old school way. We'll just see when we see. I love it, man. I love it. But yeah, I'm just excited to have you on, man. You have a very touching and interesting story. You've been on this Sports Illustrated platform before. You're actually a cover story for Sports Illustrated that, we'll talk about that and what that story entails. It's something I think that needs to be heard, especially for today. But we're interested. We're interested to hear your story. We're just glad to have you here, man. So let's get into a little bit of football right now. What are your measurables and who are you working out with currently?
Oh, geez. I feel like measurables, you get measured constantly going into this process. But so currently like 6'7", 313 pounds. Honestly, forget my hand measurement, but I got like a 34, 35-inch arm length, like a 74, 75 wingspan. And I'm down here in Fort Myers, Florida, training down at X3 with Jordan Llewellyn, and a bunch of his guys. And I've been down here for a little over a month now, and things are going good. The weather's a lot better back home or back here, down here in Florida compared to Colorado. It's supposed to snow today, and it's like 80 something down here. So just enjoying it, going down to the beach.
Beautiful, man. So let me ask you about that. So you grew up in Morrison, Colorado?
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Morrison and being an athlete out there, and just the lifestyle? What is Morrison? Give me a snapshot going into the county or city of Morrison, and what exactly is it like? What are the things to do on a Friday night lights, and hang out? You know, what do you do when you hang out there?
Yeah, Morrison's kind of like the best of everything. For those, got a great music scene. I'm not sure if you heard Red Rocks Amphitheater. It's a great outdoor amphitheater down in Morrison, like beautiful red rocks. There's live music. There's good things to eat. Colorado, Morrison specifically, is really outdoorsy. A lot of hike areas. If you don't want to go to a concert, you can definitely hike during the day. Mountain biking, so it's a whole outdoorsy type of environment. And for me, just growing up in Morrison, one thing that I really liked doing was just hanging out with my friends, playing sports. I did everything. I did football, baseball, basketball growing up, and I even decided to wrestle like my junior year in high school. So everything that I was doing was around sports or just outside, So
All right.
enjoyed it.
So recreation wise, are you more of a hunter or more of a fisherman?
Oh, geez. Neither, actually. I like going hiking. Yeah.
Okay, you hike. Okay.
I went fishing. I was with my uncle, and I accidentally hooked his friend, and I was like, I don't know if this is for me anymore.
Okay.
But no, it's something that I want to get into as I get older, especially like I think it's really like being out with nature. I definitely kind of eases the mind. You can take a step back from when things get stressful.
That is absolutely the greatest. I try to tell folks I'm in Hampton Roads, so we have the Appalachians here, which are many molehills compared to what you guys have out there. But if you get an opportunity to go to the mountains, there's something serene, there's something calming about being in the mountains.
Yes.
And just taking it easy and just being with nature and not have to put up with all of the stressors of
exactly.
The quick city and life in general. You just want to take it easy, go out there, just be yourself and not have to conform, so to speak.
Exactly. And what's nice about it too is it's not too far away. It's probably like an hour and a half drive. So if like something were to happen, or if you just want to make a quick trip, nice little getaway, it's right there.
So you're hiking. I mean, you're a real big boy. I mean, can you rock climb out there? I know there's rock climbing's got to be super popular.
I don't tend to do that, but I have a lot of close friends that do it. I'm there for moral support, but I'm not trying to get anything too crazy.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's got to be some ridiculous carabiners that you're gonna that I have to handle you. But yeah, man. So let's get into something a little more personal. I mean, you have an incredible story that you had ran on you in the Sports Illustrated magazine, and it was about something that happened to you, an event that needs to be heard. I think it needs to be shouted, among everybody. People need to hear this, whether you agree with it or not, about what happened to you personally. If you wouldn't mind, just kind of elaborate a little bit on what happened with you and how that has affected you moving forward, and where do you think things should go from that point on, or from this point on?
Yeah. And it's like, just before I get started, like, it's not something that's, it's a heavy subject. So if I'm getting choked up about it now. But
take your time, brother. Take your time. I get it. It's and you don't have to go so deep, but just I think it's a story that people need to hear.
Yeah. So being identify as African American, and was it 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, on June 11th, 2020. I was taking an opportunity to be an intern at a local roofing company. So my position was just going around, kind of really just giving roof inspections, trying to, grow my, network, essentially, get opportunities, salesperson, being young, there's a lot of different opportunities. And I feel like being a sales consultant, like, that's good skill to have.
Mm-hmm.
And, eventually I ended up having a conversation with, an older gentleman that didn't go too well. Little detail. So the day before the attack, I had a conversation with him. It was me and my supervisor. He was, just give me a second. I'm sorry.
No, take your time, brother.
It was me and my supervisor. First day on the job, I was kind of just there, kind of just watching him, trying to pick up tips and tricks to do on my own. Then we ended up knocking on this house, and the man, screaming and yelling, like, "What are you doing on my property?" This and that. Like, so it told us to leave. So we ended up leaving, and, we're walking down the street, and he comes back screaming and yelling, like, "I need to see proper identification," like, not believing who we are, like, thinks we're Antifa. This is, remind you, this is like like the height of that summer. I'm sure you guys remember that summer. 2020, a couple of weeks after George Floyd. The nation was chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first day, showed him a proper identification. Had a good conversation with the gentleman, and he kind of just told us of stuff that was going on about like local gang members and stuff like that. I'm not sure how accurate all that stuff was, being in Loveland, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But so the second day we go out to the same neighborhood, and we're going down the cul-de-sac. We were told that day not to go near the house, instead just to go like the opposite end of the neighborhood. And we did that, and we're entering this cul-de-sac, and the perpetrator followed us and found us, and he had a pistol that was modified to be
same guy,
and
wow.
Totally just like acted like the conversation that we had the day before didn't existed. Like it just didn't happen at all. Not the house that we had just knocked on, no one answered. So I took a second to log the data in, make sure it was all in the database. And I'm walking down the driveway, and I turn around, I hear, "Get on the ground!" Like, this is the police. And I see, full green camo, like a helmet, green bulletproof vest. He's got khaki shorts on, boots. And I just remember seeing like an optic, like some assault rifles have like an orange, like for like a scope kind of. I just remember seeing that and just, "Get on the ground. This is the police," this and that. So that's the first thing I saw was the optic and the rifle. And, kind of just, I followed his instructions. Like, I didn't want to put my life in danger. And at the time I wasn't even 21. So, I remember just looking at this tree, just thinking about this whole time. And he comes over, walks over my supervisor, comes straight to me, puts his knee on the back of my neck and jams his rifle into my back. So it's tough and it's heavy. And I remember after the attack just losing myself emotionally. And my girlfriend at the time, like I was looking on something on my computer. I think I was looking at like rent for something, and my computer was just being really, really slow. And I like losing my cool. I got really aggressive. I started yelling at her, and like I apologized right after, because I felt myself getting frustrated, and I felt myself taking out on her.
Sure.
And right after that, I went to the backyard, had a phone call with my counselor, and she told me that something that really stuck with me. And she said that if I don't deal with it in a healthy way, I'll see it affect areas of my life where I don't want it to. And that was a prime example. Like, she's my fiance now, so she stuck it out with me. But and I think talking about it helps a lot. Like, I'm at a far better place I am now compared to a year ago, 2 years ago.
Well, I can tell you, man, you're right. Talking about it almost cleanses you. You're washing it out of your spirit. You got to get it out. And the more you tell your story, the more people will learn from it.
Right.
And your bravery will be listened and will be shouted, for years to come. So, you being a brave young man and doing the right thing, and figuring it out and sharing your story is going to help a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
man.
of course.
I think you're an exceptional young man, and I know there's a lot of great things coming up for you in your near future.
Yeah.
So if you're ready, we can jump back into some football stuff. But thank you for sharing. So let's jump into it, man. I see that you were, preseason All Mountain West conference, and you had a lot of versatility. I saw that you play a little guard, and naturally you're a tackle with that reach.
Yeah.
But what do you prefer, guard or tackle, or what do you think, man?
Honestly, like, I think guard has definitely increased in interest over the years. I remember the first couple weeks I was going in at guard, I was like, "What the heck am I doing? Like, what?" But it got more comfortable with it, and honestly, like, it doesn't really matter. I feel a lot of comfortability at tackle and at guard. And obviously, as a player, you're trying to find ways to improve yourself as a player, football knowledge, technique, all this and that. And being both guard and tackle, there's different aspects, right? Tackle, you have way more space. Guard's a little bit more limited. So it's
a different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally. People think, "Oh, you're a lineman, you're a lineman." It's like, you guys you don't know football, because the center is like the quarterback. His job is everything. I mean,
exactly.
He makes all your calls. He's calling your signals. The guard, they're not in as much space, but they have to be powerful. They have to be stout. And then, of course, the tackles, you got to be super agile. You're going to get some of the best or the biggest athletes on the field, which are the defensive ends,
Quick, bendy, powerful, like all of the above. So
that's right.
And I think just being able to play both, like it just not only is beneficial for this time where I'm in right now, draft stock and all that, but it's just for me just a different opportunity to learn both positions, and I enjoy finding ways to improve myself at tackle and guard. So just really enjoying it and different techniques.
Well, yeah, I see, you got a lot of great things ahead of you. I can tell you with your size and your length, the versatility is really what this what this game is going into. What's going on, D Cassidy? All my folks in the chat, thank you guys for tuning in. My man D Cass in the building. A coach that I always have followed or respected, he always used the term position flex. Ron Rivera talks about being able to be able to move to different positions and play different things on the fly. So yeah, that's just coming just based off of how this game is going.
And in today's modern NFL, like there's 8 offensive linemen on an NFL roster. So like those players just got to be able to versatile, and that increases your chances of landing somewhere. So it's definitely in my favor.
That's right, man. That's right. So let's jump into let's see here. Can we jump into some rapid fire for you?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some rapid fire, man. Oh, you know what? Before I do rapid fire, what is your pro day? When is that, and where is that?
So it's going to be in Fort Collins, Colorado, where CSU is located, Colorado State, and it's March 30th. Really, really late, I feel like. But, it is what it is, and it gives me a little bit more time to prepare.
Okay. All right. Also, let's get into some rapid fire. If you're ready. 3, 2, 1. What is the hardest defensive lineman you had to face?
Ooh, okay. This last season or in general?
In general.
Ooh, let me see. I got a couple of names pulled up for you. I think my redshirt freshman year we were down at Florida, and Jachi Polite, I think that's how you pronounce his name, number 99, back in 2018 from Florida down in Gainesville, the Swamp. He was, all the above: quick, smooth, bendy, powerful. And that was my redshirt freshman year, not kind of just like fresh out the womb, like not a lot of experience yet. So hands down.
Okay. All right. If you had $100,000 to give to a charity, who would it be, or what would it be?
So I interned during my time at CSU at the Boys and Girls Club. I know they're not really a charity, but they're a nonprofit organization. And me growing up, I went to YMCA. Like those organizations are huge, and those kids, they need it. So I would give it to the Boys and Girls Club of any, any area, any community that would need it.
Okay, yeah, I got Sam is saying that we have a video of one of the coaches calling you out as a top player. If you got a second here, we're gonna play this video.
Oh
yeah. Let's see what that's about. Let's see what happens there. All right, looks like we're trying to get that up. There we go.
Okay, putting one hand up, reading the inside backers, the inside fire zone. All right, coming back, securing the edge. Okay, just pointing out Barry a couple clips of just doing the right thing all the time. Okay, first time I saw this guy, all right, it's a team camp, and I saw this big guy on the field, and I'm like, who is this big guy? I went and watched it, he almost tripped, coming out of the huddle. Almost tripped. Couldn't walk and chew gum. Worked his tail off, came here as a walk-on, now running first tackle. Stand up, Barry. Now you're on scholarship.
You get chills, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got to give you chills every time you see that,
every
man.
Time. I don't know where you guys found that. That was, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, something like that, man. But, so deserving. When you work as hard as you've done, that you have in your life, and, times like that, you'll never you'll never forget it. You never forget moments like that, and it's what builds your character. It's what makes you who you are. But
Right.
but I love it, man. Just seeing you get that scholarship and continue on and progressive. Some folks don't take that advantage. Whenever they get that offer or get that scholarship, and
Yeah.
it's it's not something that they always take advantage of. And also, you getting your scholarship, obviously, you took it to the next level. You became, all conference. And what you've done. So if you're ready, we can jump right back into some rapid fire.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. And just, I think that video really just portrays like who I am, are all walk-ons, people who are always hard workers and who are always determined, and that's just
Yes,
who I am. So,
absolutely, man. So what is your favorite home cooked meal?
ooh,
And we can take our time on this one. I mean, if there's a couple, you can say a couple. If there's, we could also do some desserts. I mean, but what's your favorite home cooked meal when you go
home
home?
cooked
Let's say
meal.
you're up at school. You say I'm getting to go home this weekend, and you go home, and it's like, oh man, my favorite home cooked meal. What feels like home?
So it's funny that you say that. So I'm actually headed home this weekend, and I've been gone for
Okay.
about a month, and I'm super excited to have some home biscuits and gravy. My fiance, I don't know what she does, but man, just something waking up in the morning like 10 o'clock, having a nice biscuit and gravy. Ooh, and that's for breakfast. And she also
Okay.
she makes a mean like short rib stew kind of like, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's simple, but she puts her foot in it. That's so.
Oh my goodness, man. So I see the weight of your heart is your stomach.
Yeah, I got to be careful. I might gain a couple extra more lbs.
That's right. You just got to hit the bench a little more. That's all. Run a little bit more. Turn it into weight. Turn
Exactly.
it into strength. But that's awesome to hear, man. Now, dessert wise, I mean, see, I gotta see. Usually, with other positions, I'll get one. But we're big. We're real big boys. So
Mhm.
I want a couple things from you. So what about desserts? What is your
Desserts.
favorite dessert?
I'm a sucker for any type of pie, like pecan
Go
pie, pumpkin
go
pie.
to go
Key,
to though.
go to probably key lime
Key
pie.
lime. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Love key
Nothing
lime
wrong
pie too.
with
Yeah, man. So, and out there in Colorado, where you grew up at, what is your hangout?
As in just like just
With,
for
with
the
your
weekend.
with your friends, just kick it, hang out. Just, you know what? I'm going here tonight. Just to hang out with my friends and kick it.
Oh, see, there's a lot of bar scenes, but that's not really my type of scene. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's called the Exchange. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
imagine like a little courtyard with a bunch of different restaurants, and like you
Yeah.
can order a drink or two if you want. And I think that
Yeah.
would probably be like my ideal Friday night. I go
Okay.
out, get a couple of drinks, maybe get something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Just a normal quesadilla. Like I know it's a little weird, but like a go-to nice little chicken quesadilla with some
Uh-huh.
on the side and a drink. But that's probably a perfect Friday night for me.
I was gonna say, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That shows maturity, brother. Let it out. Let them know you're mature, man. You don't got to
Yeah,
go out and pound the dance floor and dance the whole time. Hey, I could just have a few drinks, a quesadilla with my little lady. I'm good.
yep.
And I'm out. So if you had to a superhero or a super villain, which superhero or super villain do you identify with the most?
Oh, Miles Morales, easy,
Okay.
easy, easy.
Okay.
Grew up a big Spider-Man fan, and the recent Spideyverse with Miles Morales, that's probably my favorite cartoon movie ever. Like,
I almost venture to say before this Spider-Man came out, I thought it was probably the best Marvel movie. I mean, regardless if it's a
yeah,
cartoon or movie, that it was like, outside of like the Infinity Wars and
yeah, the whole
those,
MCU, yeah, yeah.
but just like straight up Marvel, that was unreal. Are you ready for the new one though?
Yes, I'm so excited for it. Like I don't
You
have
know?
a PlayStation 5 for it yet, but I'm trying to play that new Miles Morales on the PlayStation. Like I've been
Uh-huh.
playing like the one that came out probably a couple of years ago, but just something about like his ability and within the movie himself, just like how he's able to overcome so many different obstacles. Like I kind of relate to that in a way. So, and like
Well, uh-huh.
I was just gonna say my favorite moment in the whole movie is when he's like finally becomes Spider-Man. He's at the top of the whatever tower, jumps off. It's nighttime. He's got his full suit on, and like it's just scenic and it's perfect.
Wow. And so yeah, that is something, you know, that I feel like was something right for this times, that Miles Morales, because he's, you know, he's a minority child. He's growing up in a place where, you know, he deals with things just like all of us do on an everyday basis, you know, and you know, he has something miraculous happen to him, and now he's, you know, Spider-Man, and he's a goofy kind of a goofy
dude,
kid.
He's himself too. You know, that's one thing too. Is like you can have all these great responsibilities, but what does it mean if you lose yourself?
That's right.
Having fun, doing what he does best.
That's right. So let me ask you this: you being a Spider-Man guy, what's outside of Miles Morales or the main Spider-Man characters? Which Spider-Man multi-universe character do you like? Spider-Punk, Gwen, Peter Porker? You know, which out of all the Spider-Verse
in that movie
characters, or just in general, because you know there's
so many different ones.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I like a lot of character development in the first initial Peter Parker that we meet in that movie, and just how he tells his story about how he lost, you know, his MJ, his Gwen, whoever it was, but for him to be able to grow and see the maturity that Miles sees, and then like is encouraged to try to attempt that again when he goes back.
Okay.
So I think, like I'm a big character development type of dude, so I think that he's up next on my list.
Okay, all right. Well, let me ask you. We talk about character development. We talk about, you know, the latest Spider-Man movie. Tell me give me your review of that. What'd you think about that movie?
So I grew up watching Tobey Maguire, so he's my original dude. So when I saw him on the screen, I was freaking out. Like my inner child was like, ah!
Right.
But yeah, no, that movie was great. I was hands down. Like I'm trying to figure out when I can go see it again. I've been a little bit busy, but no, that movie's a good time. And if you haven't seen it, go see it.
I'm trying to tell folks, you got to go see it. I said, before you see that, go see What If. That way it'll set you up for what's what and what is going on. Yeah. Because they just took the game over. DC is so far behind.
They can't catch up.
Yeah, exactly. They can't see. You and I can vibe all the time, man. See, we got to catch up, man. When you get drafted, I know you're gonna be on the next level. You're gonna be very successful, but you and I are gonna have to catch up once you get to the next level, my man.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. I got your contact information.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So let me ask you this: the big game. Who's gonna win in the score?
Oh, you know, being a Denver Bronco fan, like I gotta see Von Miller get another ring. You know, seeing him go was probably the hardest thing that I've had to endure recently in terms of being a football fan. Like that was tough. That was a hard weekend, hard day for me. But to see him win another ring, that would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to a lot of the Denver Broncos that support him. So,
all right. That sounds good.
Yeah,
that sounds good. And I mean, you know, being that it's a West Coast team as well. Yeah. Out in LA now. The Rams are in LA, so that is a connection as well. So let me ask you about your music interests really quick. What are your music interests currently right now? Give me your if I plugged in your iPod, put on my headphones. What are the top 3 songs that are going to play?
Okay. I'm not sure about songs, but I can give you artists. Hands down favorite, J. Cole.
Okay.
This lyricist, like the way that he's able to make certain connections with his words and make it his rhythm, like everything, like he's the GOAT. And I know a lot of people would agree with that. Like I know there are a lot of people would have some controversy about that. But other than that, like I listen to everything. So it's a wide variety of mixes. Like if I like the beat, I like what the message in the song is. Like it's in the music library. Like I'm just listening to everything.
Well, let me ask you this. Pre-game song before you run out on the field, something that gets you going. What is your pre-game song?
So when I wrestled in high school, my wrestling coach had put on this song. It's called "Do I Want to Know" by the Arctic Monkeys, and I just remember like getting in the zone in the weight room, just running laps. It's like getting that. I'm not sure if a lot of people heard about it, but it's just one of those ones it's like concentrated aggression, right? Like as the song keeps going and keeps building, like you get more hype into it. And as like every other song, But for me, I'd go, Do I Want to Know by the Arctic Monkeys.
Okay, well, I just wrote it down and I'm gonna find it. So I'm gonna see what's happening with it. And also, do you have any shout outs or any announcements that you wanted to make?
Oof, besides the baby, other than that, and the fiance, like I think that's all I got.
All right, my man. Well, I can tell you, Barry, we really appreciate you coming on, man. And congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
The youngin, and also your development going to the next level.
Mhm.
And we're gonna follow you, and we're gonna have to catch up.
Yo, absolutely,
When you get an opportunity, man. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you for
on.
having me on the show. It was a blast. I'm looking forward to more. I'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
That was Barry Wesley from Colorado State, all-world, 6'7", 310-pound tackle coming in, and he's got a lot on his plate, as you can see, but he's a very young, smart, articulate young man who had an event happen to him that, a lot of us probably wouldn't have made it back from, with the gun to the back of his head, with somebody with the knee on his neck. He was able to overcome that and still be the good, respectable young man that he is today. And hats off to him, and God bless him and his family and his legacy. So we'll see how it goes. Quick announcement: our other guest, Mark Robinson, who is going to interview with us today. His fiance is actually giving birth to his first child. He was a linebacker out of Ole Miss. We're going to interview today. So they had to rush her to the hospital. So congratulations. God bless. Hopefully things go well with that, Mark. And we'll get you back on. But that's awesome, man. That's just cool. Whenever you got things like that going on in your life, it's always great, to hear about those events. And I can tell you, congratulations on that, Mark. And like I said, God bless on the pregnancy. So we can keep this thing rocking and rolling. This is the NFL Draft Bible Prospect Preview Show, and we can jump right on. We got another big boy in the house, my man Ben Adler.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Adler.
Adler.
All right, so I had it first. All right, so my man Ben Adler from K-State, correct?
Yes, sir.
6'4", 327. From Wichita, Kansas. But those are the measurables that I see. I got to ask you, what are your measurables right now, and who are you working out with?
Right now I'm sitting at about 6'4", 330, 335. I'm working down at X3 in Fort Myers, Florida. We're with Jordan Llewellyn, and I'm doing all my training there right now.
Wow. Okay, so 330. Okay, so you're ready to rock and roll, man. I can see you're played guard for the most part in your entire career. Have you played any center at all?
I played center in 2 games my junior year, and I didn't play any center this year, but I took snaps during practice.
Okay, all right. Do you feel comfortable playing center as well, if asked?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I'm asked to play center, I'm without a doubt, I'm definitely going to jump in and play some center.
Okay. And I see that you were first team Big 12, all academic at K-State, man, which is saying something. K-State, along with Northwestern, also out there, you guys are academic institution, almost like what we call like a public Ivy, where you're almost like an Ivy League, as far as how your academics are, at your institution you went to. So what was your favorite subject, at K-State?
My degree was in construction science and management, and I had a minor in business. And I think probably my favorite subject was concrete. That's kind of what I want to go into after football's over. I want to be a subcontractor and do stuff like that. So that was probably my favorite subject, is learning different types of concrete, when you use it for, different times, whether it's footings and stuff like that.
Wow, that's very interesting, man. I can tell you one thing. Of course, I did my research on you, and I seen your pictures from freshman year to senior year. It's the same picture. You're very consistent.
Yeah,
all your pictures. Well, they could have took the same picture. I mean, you can see the growth in you. As far as you're putting on the weight and working out, but all of your facial expressions are perfectly the same. I said he's very consistent.
Yeah. So most of the time during camp, they come up to us, and that was the picture from my redshirt year. And they ask you like, "Hey, you want to take like 5-10 minutes to take a new picture?" And I was like, "How does my old picture look?" And they're like, "Oh, it's fine." I was like, "All right, it's fine then. Next meeting." So I didn't really update I think I updated it twice from my redshirt year to my redshirt freshman year, and then I think it was the same photo my sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I said, pretty consistent. But let me ask you this: growing up in Wichita, Kansas, man, out there in the Midwest mentality, hardworking, you know, more of a little bit, maybe a little bit more of a slower pace. But it is you're gonna get what you ask for. When you're talking about that kind of a culture and lifestyle. What was it like growing up in Wichita, playing football in Wichita, and then wind up going to K-State and staying, in state?
So I started out in Winfield, Kansas, until my sophomore year of high school, which is
Mm-hmm.
about an hour south of Wichita. And up until my sophomore year of high school, I didn't play offensive or defensive line. I played tight end and I played outside linebacker. And I was my freshman year, I was about 6'2", probably 240, 250. And they just had me playing tight end and outside linebacker. And then I kind of fought playing offensive line. I mean, I had good hands and I could move pretty well. So I was like, man, I can play tight end. And no one in my family was an offensive lineman. So my older brother was a quarterback and a safety. Then my sophomore year rolled around, and I'm about 6'4", 275-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, we need a left tackle and a defensive tackle. So I switched over and played line and D-line my sophomore year in Winfield. And then my mom got a job opportunity at Wichita State. So my family moved up to Andover, Kansas, right next to Wichita. And I went to Trinity Academy for my junior and senior year and played left tackle 1 year and defensive tackle 1 year, and then left guard and defensive end the next year.
Okay, wow. Yeah, so that versatility, now I can see, where the center, playing center, you got the hands. People don't understand that there are, four positions that you have to have some of the best hands on the team. Naturally quarterback, but then you got wide receivers, you have punters, and you have your centers and tight ends. That's like 5 positions, but people don't understand like centers or people who handle the ball, they have incredible hands, and you being a tight end, you have to have good hands to play that position. And it's just interesting to hear that. And I can see you playing, the versatility. You could probably play anywhere on the interior of an offensive line. Have you talked about or have you played any tackle? Have you in any of these workouts? Have you messed around at playing on the outside?
I haven't worked too much at playing tackle. If I'm thrown in there, I have experience playing tackle. But it's not one of my primary positions because, I'm 6'3", 6'4". I'm not crazy long arms. I think I have average arms. But, if I get thrown into the opportunity, and I'm definitely going to take it.
I'm getting Brandon Sheriff vibes right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Powerhouse, man. Let me ask you this, man. Are you more of a, when I used to coach linemen, I used to say, what are you, more of a technician or are you nasty? So I got to ask you that. Are you more of a technician or are you nasty?
Honestly, probably more nasty than anything. That's kind of the O-lineman in my room always called me Shirley, and basically just called me grumpy and stuff. I wasn't very nice to some people, and that's kind of what I took pride in, was not being the nicest person on the field when it came to pancaking people and doing stuff like that. I wasn't gonna be super friendly about it.
I love it. That's Brandon Sheriff right there, man. I love it. Hey, man, he gonna chase you all the way around the field so I get my pancake out of you. So, if you had to find a person on the next level who's a similar guard to you, I'm saying Brandon Sheriff, but to you, what player on the next level do you kind of emulate as far as your playing style at guard?
I don't know how similar I am to him, but somebody that I really enjoy watching and try to play like is Quentin Nelson. He's one of the best guards in the league, and he's physical. He moves well. He's strong. He's everything you look for in a guard. And so I kind of watch him play and how he plays and kind of try to imitate that and play like him.
Very good answer, man. It's all pro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all pro. That's a perfect person
He's
to
a beast.
emulate. Exactly. So I guess you said what your weight? You're to about 330, 333 right now, 335. What was it?
330 to 335 is in between there. Kind of
Okay, all right. You say, are you trying to come down? Or are you trying to stay kind of where you are? Or
come down a little bit. That was kind of when I first got here. I put on weight, just putting on muscle and getting stronger and stuff like that. So now that I put on some muscle and put on some good muscle, now it's time to lose a little weight and get closer to 325, 320 for my pro day.
okay, all right. Yeah, when is your pro day? Let's talk about that. When is your pro day and your next event after that?
So March 9th is my pro day, and then honestly, I mean, I'm just going to be working out up in Manhattan. I don't really have a next event. I'll be up there until the draft, and then I'll probably go home a few days before the draft and spend time with my family and be with them. But I'll probably just be up in Manhattan training with my old roommate and another guy that's down here working out with me, Josh Rivas.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. I know that name, Josh. Let me ask you this: who's the hardest person you had to block?
Honestly, with it being the Big 12, I don't think I had one individual person that was better than the other. They were all. I mean, it's the Big 12. It's competitive football, and I mean, everyone that I faced was good.
Okay, all right. So everybody was just pretty much just top shelf every week. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
It was just tough.
you play. You're going to face good athletes that move and are strong, and some teams might have better technique guys than others. But I mean, you're going to face 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds to 320 pounds.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: trap or pull? What do you prefer? If you had to pick one.
With our system that we ran at K-State, I'm more of a pull guy.
Mm-hmm.
I liked running counter where you could straight pull down the line and kick out a D end, or we ran tight A gap power, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of what K-State was known for these last few years was the fake pull power in 2019 against OU.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, probably power and counter are my favorite plays to pull on.
Okay. All right. So you're a puller. So that means you got good feet. That means you can get down the line, get up, head inside, turn them hips.
Yep.
And you guys have done a great job of putting together, what is it, the second most successful running attack, in the Big 12, and you're a testament to that, as well. And like I said, I think a team that gets you on the next level is going to be absolutely ecstatic to get you, and get you in the system and learning because. Nowadays, being able to run, being able to, a la Kelsey, the center from the Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
How he can get out in space, and a lot of these bigger athletic guards can get out in space for a lot of these screens and, like you said, or pulls down the line. You got to be able to move, and it's not so much of being a road grader. That's kind of like, oh yeah, everybody can road grade, but can you move? Because these defenders now are so athletic, and you having that skill set, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how you manifest that on the next level. So, you ready for some rapid fire?
Yeah, like honestly, kind of back to what you were saying. Like I think
Uh-huh.
one thing that really helped me in high school was kind of being like a versatile like athlete when it came to playing different sports, like being able to move and stuff like that. I mean, it helped playing basketball, it helped playing baseball, and being able to play different sports in the off season that can help with my feet and moving around and doing stuff like that.
If you wasn't a football player, what other sport would you play?
I was being recruited my freshman, sophomore, and junior year to play baseball. And I was first team All-State baseball, first baseman. Probably primarily would have been a DH in college, but yeah, I mean, I loved hitting the baseball. It was one of my favorite things about playing baseball.
Oh my goodness! See, you just changed, or you just like really went to another level in my mind. Your hand-eye coordination is phenomenal compared to a lot of linemen who don't necessarily understand, or people who don't understand what it takes to hit a baseball. And you played it obviously your whole youth, and then you're going into high school. You played it, so being able to, your strike, being a lineman.
Yeah.
People don't understand how important, that first strike is, and having perfect hand placement. And you having that hand-eye coordination is priceless. It's kind of like soccer when players come in and they have a soccer background. The footwork, priceless. You know, if you got great footwork, you can play any sport. Similar with hand-eye coordination. You got hand-eye coordination or foot-eye coordination. It makes other sports like football easier to play. So kudos to you for that, man. That's awesome. I did not know that you were, a high-level baseball prospect as well. So, but yeah, you ready for some rapid fire, my man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's jump in. So, first question. What is your favorite home cooked meal? I got to ask all my big boys this. Your favorite home cooked meal, your dessert, favorite dessert, all those kind of things. But when you go home, from being up at school and you're like, oh, man, I love this. You get the favorite food that you want. What is it?
My mom makes this, I don't really know what it's called or what she uses in there, but she cooks some white rice and then she mixes in this like white sauce and makes meatballs with it. And I remember I had it when I had an in-home visit with Blake Seiler when he was at K-State. And I was sitting there, I had my first plate and my mom didn't make enough for everybody. And I was sitting there like, Mom, I want to get another plate. I don't get this very often, Mom.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably my favorite cooked meal is that rice with meatballs and that.
It's like a rice stroganoff almost kind of thing.
Yeah. And then honestly, like my mom didn't bake all that often. She made like brownies or cookies like occasionally, but she would get these big cookies from Dylan's. They're like sugar cookies with icing on top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was probably my favorite dessert to eat. Or my grandma would make peanut butter balls for like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Would probably be my favorite dessert.
Spoken like a true lineman. I love to hear that, man. What if you had $100,000 to give to a charity? What charity would you give to?
Honestly, I've talked to my dad a lot about in off season after my first season, starting kind of like a charity, whether it's for like homeless veterans or helping out veterans in the Wichita area or in the Kansas City area. And then also I have a little brother with special needs and doing something with special needs and doing something like Special Olympics or doing some sort of charity event to raise money for either of those organizations.
Wow, I love to hear that, man. I have a background. I used to teach and coach special education as well here in Hampton Roads. So I salute you, for that. Are you a hunter or a fishing person?
I like hunting. I started hunting kind of early with my dad, and it was kind of something that, sitting in a hunting stand with my dad when I was 8, 9 years old, had plenty of room in there. I just went this past few months ago with my dad sitting in the same stand. I'm bumping into the walls and stuff and not as much spacious as it was. But, I mean, I still to this day go hunting with my dad. We'll sit in the same stand and we'll just sit up there and can't really talk too loud, but we'll whisper and kind of just talk and talk about school. And what I would do is it's about an hour east of Wichita and it's about 2.5 to 3 hours southeast it's straight south of Manhattan. So I would get done with class or it'd be a Saturday or something and I would drive down and hunt and then turn around and drive back to Manhattan and my dad would go home and I would hunt for 2 or 3 hours with my dad. And that was something that I really enjoyed doing, whether it was driving 5-6 hours to hunt for 2 or 3 hours, but going out there and sitting with my dad and just seeing. And I mean, we would hunt deer for the most part, but we've been on quail, pheasant hunting trips. I've hunted dove a few times, but
that's priceless, man. You can't buy that.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
you can't buy that, man. That's priceless stuff right there, and that'll be with you forever. Sounds great. But let me ask you this: what superhero or supervillain do you identify with the most?
Probably my favorite superhero was Hulk, just because how big he was, and he was always breaking stuff and smashing stuff. I mean, that's kind of something that I related to because when I was a little kid, I would always bump into stuff and I'd bump into a flower vase and break it. I'd look at my mom like, I'm sorry. I don't stick it in the doorway. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably something I related to the most was the Hulk.
Well, you figure, you being, as an academic leader, on your team, Dr. David Banner, very smart, but what do they say? Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
And then you don't let me turn it to the Hawk because it's a wrap, brother. I love that, man. All right, let me ask you about the big game. Who's going to win the big game and what's the score?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm really excited to watch it. I think honestly the Bengals might get it, but if they do, they're barely going to get it. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I'll be sitting in my hotel room in Fort Myers with some of my buddies watching the game, and we'll probably be taking our picks and talking about it in the hotel room. So I'll probably say Bengals, but either team could win, honestly.
Okay, all right. I'm with the Bengals too. I'm going for the Bengals. So, are there any shout outs or announcements you have out there that you want to shout out?
Just shout out my family back in Wichita. I talk to them every day, and I mean they keep me humble, and I get to talk to them every day, and they keep me grounded, and can't do anything of anything I'm doing now without them.
Yeah. So I can tell you like this. I'm definitely excited to see where you go on the next level. We're going to follow you. And, I'm just appreciative that you were on today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. And that is something that, I really want to see, what team is going to get this big, nasty guard. My man, Ben Adler in the building. Thanks for coming on. And we'll see you on the other side, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
That is Ben Adler, man. Big, nasty guard from K-State, 6'4", 330-ish. Good kid. Some team is going to be lucky to get a young man with his intelligence, first of all. Intelligence, also with his hand-eye coordination and big body. So he's a steal, wherever you get him. So that'll be definitely some player that we're going to have to follow and see where he goes. So if Sam in the back, we got our final person of the day. All right, there he goes. That's Ben. How are you doing, Ben?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Now help me with your last name. It's Ben
Niesner.
Niesner, Mr. Niesner.
Yeah,
man. So how is your day going so far today, Mr. Ben Niesner?
Pretty good. I'm in the West Coast, so it's still pretty early, but it's going good so far.
Well, thank you for making it up. Getting up with us and hanging out early.
Yeah, so thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. So you come in. Well, before we even get into your accolades, what are your measurables and who are you working out with?
About 6 foot, 205 right now. I'm actually in Palm Springs, California. I have a trainer down here. His name's Michael Butler. That's what I'm doing like my strength training with, and then my family's here for about a month as like kind of a family trip. So I decided to go with them because I have a lot of stuff in Arizona for this month. So it was an easy drive back and forth. So I was kind of blessed to be able to be here with them and be able to kick and train every day in the sunny weather.
So I've been watching. I watch your highlights. I did some research on you. You got some wheels, man. I saw one of your highlights from North Dakota State, man. You took off. I was like, what is his 40? I said, what punter? What is your 40 time, man? I mean, really, if they had to put you on the gun, what do you think you'd run?
I mean, the last time I ran it, I didn't have a great setting for it. It was in snow and in a sweatsuit, so I ran about like a 4.7, 4.8. So I would love to be tested on a good day. I would assume I probably run like a 4.6, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's blazing, dude. That's like running a 4.2 at wide receiver. If your punter can run a 4.6, are you serious? That is awesome. Man.
Yeah,
I love it.
I like to say that I get my speed from adrenaline too. So
right, he's a runner for my life, y'all. Just let me get out of here.
Exactly.
But no, I saw that and I was like, whoa. I said, what? I said, the guy, crashed into, came into too steep, and I said, oh man, he just broke a tane. I said, he's gone. I said, they're lucky they had somebody else to go out there. It looked like you were gonna take it to the house for a minute. But yeah, man. But
I've had a couple. I think I have 5 rushes for like 43 yards in my career. So I've done quite a few running for my life. I had a couple running for my life moments. So
Yeah, they gotta watch out for you, man. You take off on them. So you know what? You may have a call play. In the game on the next level, any advantage that you can have is such a hard game on the next level where offenses and defenses, they're scheming back and forth, chess playing. The special teams plays more and more of a role, in the outcome of a game. And a play like on a 4th and 4, if somebody breaks,
Yeah.
breaks the chain, and you step outside of them, and you got like a 10-yard jaunt, you take that
Yeah.
thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then they can just usually run the clock out, at the end of a game. So, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a called run for you. There's a play for you to run out of the formation. But
Right.
yeah, man. So I see you're from Black Diamond, Washington. Did you grow up at like a ski resort? Well, what's up with that?
No, it's an old coal mining town in
Okay.
Washington. It's about like 45 minutes from Seattle, and then it's like 2 hours from Mount Rainier, so we're kind of in the middle. So yeah, it was a small town in Washington. I was born in Naperville, Illinois.
Okay. All
So
right.
I've kind of been on the West Coast and Midwest basically my whole life. So
All right. So West Coast. So does it really rain a lot in Washington, man?
it's
I've never been there.
people that's a stereotype, but you get used to it once you live out there. It's mainly cloudy every day. It's not so much rainy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just every day is cloudy, but it's not bad if you've lived there basically your whole life. Like you get used to it.
Okay. And you being a highly decorated punter, man, just getting into some of your accolades. You're like all-world conference. I mean, top punter in the nation, FCS. What made you pick Valpo after you left Portland State?
So I just wanted to go somewhere that was like a better school environment for me. I love Valpo because it reminded me of my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
A small town. It had like a lot of good people. It's a smaller school, so you get that community feel. And I liked it because the program was uh, the emphasis was on like brotherhood, not so much just the business of playing football. Because they're a
Mm-hmm.
non-scholarship school, so everyone there is in the same position. We're all
Right.
just trying to like everyone's just trying to compete and have a good time and win games, and that was a huge thing I was looking at. And um, I went there because they didn't have a punter at the time, and I had high goals for myself, and um, they wanted to bring me in and told me I could play right away, and I was all in for it, and I loved the program, I loved the school, and so it was just the perfect fit for me.
I mean, we have your accolades up. I mean, look at that, man. I mean, you all world here, all world there, selection, come on in, all, tropical bowl. I mean, coach special teams player. I mean, your accolades are crazy, man. And I'm just kind of, trying to figure out, how many punts in a week, because I know it's about repetition. It's about strengthening yourself, but how many punts in a week, would you say you punt, when you're getting ready for a game?
Well, we would punt like every day, but it wouldn't be live. It would mainly be to returners, and then that'd be like a 5 minute period, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays we would go live. We only get, I mean, probably 8 punts each day. So it's a lot of individual
Mm-hmm.
preparedness,
Mm-hmm.
which is what a specialist life is about. But they made sure that we were ready every week. They would throw us different looks that probably wouldn't be seen in the game, but it made me aware to what was going on if they had a heavy rush or not. But yeah, we would probably punt twice a week and then do every other special teams every other day. So
I see that you had a change in your technique, and now you're getting that magical number 55, 5.5, which means 55
mm,
yards, 5.5 seconds in the air. What did you
yeah.
do to change the technique to get those magical numbers? Because that is all world.
So I didn't even play in high school, so I picked this up late. But I picked things up really
Wow.
fast. So I watch a lot of pro punters, and then I've worked with Tom Hackett and Ian Berryman, and they've kind of both helped me formulate a form that fits me, and then I've just kind of picked it up on my own too. Um, and I used to lean back a lot and try and pop the ball up because you have this like mental image in your head that you got to get the ball up in the air, but it's not all about that. It's getting your whole body through the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So lately, I've just been picking out things to focus on. Last season was getting my body upright, my shoulders downfield. This off season, I've been going into shortening my steps and getting up through the ball because I know I have the leg strength to produce like big numbers like that, and it's just about really just getting a technique where the pros look at and say, "Oh, this guy doesn't really have problems with his technique. He can just go out and hit balls." So lately, I've been just trying to shorten my steps and then work on dropping it later so I can get a more consistent hang. In college, I used to throw it kind of with both hands, which I would get good, produce good punts, but at times it would be like line drives. And I know in the NFL, like you need to either match your hang time with your distance or get more hang time than your distance because you need to produce fair catches. So,
Well, you actually. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that those are like the main things that I've really been working on. So,
well, you actually just answered my question. I was gonna say what things you think you need to improve in your game, and you answered that for me. So great job.
yeah.
So yeah. So what has been your longest punt ever that you had?
In a game, my longest in the air was at San Diego. I hit it was like a 4.9 second hang, and it was 63 yards in the air. But the longest I've ever kicked is 72. Was in the back of the end zone against San Diego. I kicked it like a rugby. Went about 50 yards, and then it rolled like 70. It was 72 yards total. So that was probably my craziest punt. I didn't even know how far it went. It just kept rolling.
Just kept going, huh? So let me
Yeah.
ask you this: could you, because of the way that the NFL is, we talked about position flex with someone with my earlier interview, meaning you got to be able to play different positions. Can you kick as well? Can you field goal kick?
No, I can I can step in and be like an emergency guy, but I've just been focusing on punting. I was kind of set out to replicate my game after Michael Dixon, and so I learned how to drop kick, and so I can drop kick pretty far. Like I hit a 55-yard drop kick field goal. So like it's like I can't kick, but I can kick. It's
got
weird.
you. I got you.
Yeah.
In a pinch, you could probably hit short stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I got you, man. So you may have answered this other question as well. Who's your favorite pro punter? Like today's game.
I would say, Michael Dixon would probably be it, just because of his leg strength and his ability to like hit different types of punts. In my college career, I had like last year, I probably had 5 different punts that we would use, different situations, and just seeing like his success and his form is unique too. And I like to say that my form isn't the greatest too, but I produce really good punts. So, but I guess that kind of goes with everybody. Like nobody's form is the same.
Educate me.
Yeah,
give me your 3 different kind of punts. You say you got 5 different types of punts. Give me like 3 to 4.
Yeah, so I really count there's like regular spirals. Then I have 2 types of like pin punts. So I'll hold the ball either like this behind it or on top like that. And then from those 2, I can like kind of rotate the ball to get different spins, whether I want the traditional end over end or like a helicopter, or someone called some punts a banana punt, where you hit the tip and it goes like that. Yeah, it's just like an accumulation of like just doing random stuff on the sideline and say, oh, that's cool, like that works, and showing it to coach. So
Almost like a draw or a fade. Do you play golf?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, because that's almost, you're talking about getting the ball, you know, get coffin
Right.
corner thing going, and you get
Yeah.
that draw, that fade going, whatever you want. But that's very
Yeah.
interesting to hear. Thank you for that, man. So, you ready for some more rapid fire?
Yeah.
All right. What are some of your hidden talents no one knows about?
I was a pretty big photographer in high school. I actually shot pictures for Marshawn Lynch in high school.
Wow.
I haven't really picked that up in a while because that's just been busy with football. Yeah, I don't really tell anyone about that, but I'm pretty good at photography. So
Okay. All right. Your favorite subject in school? Not your major, or
uh,
maybe it is your major, but what is your favorite subject in school, in college?
it was probably chemistry. I was a chem major, and I loved science and dealing with like math and how it like all works out with chemistry. So I love kind of problem solving like that. And then I would say like my major was sports administration, so I took a lot of kinesiology classes, and those were always super interesting. So
That's right. The movement of the human body. My brother, he's a
yeah.
occupational therapist, and that's one of his favorite
Oh,
subjects as
okay.
well. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite home cooked meal?
My mom makes chicken piccata. It's like a meal I have to have every time I come home from school. So
There we go.
yeah, she's amazing.
Favorite dessert?
Shoot. I'm not a big dessert guy, but I would say probably like the Ben and Jerry's like Cherry Garcia ice cream. It's just like a
Okay.
random ice cream, I guess, but
That's a very popular one. What is your if you had to identify with a superhero or supervillain, who would it be?
superhero. Probably Spider-Man. My mom calls me Spider-Man just for my resilience. He doesn't give up, and I feel like that's kind of been like the mantra of my career. So yeah, let's probably say Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's popular guy today. We had somebody else that they were a Spider-Man person, so we're all you guys are in the Spider-Verse today.
Right.
What's gonna be the score of the big game this weekend, and who's gonna win?
Ooh, the score. I take the Bengals. The score, I would think it's going to be decently low. I would say in the 20s. I think it's probably going to be like 27-24 Bengals. I think Evan McPherson's going to kick a game winner.
Had to go with the special teams guy. I love it. Way to stay true, brother. That's
yeah.
awesome. You got any shout outs or announcements you'd like to take or make?
I'm not really. Appreciate you for having me on the show.
Love having you, man. Love having you, man. We're looking forward to seeing where you go on the next level. You got you have a lot of accolades. You have a lot of talent. You got a boomstick over there, with that leg. And, they're going to be looking for it because the more and more this game goes on, the more, you can never have it's always great to have when you have a punter, who could put it up there and hang it up like you do. But thank you for coming on, Ben.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So that was Ben Niesner, Valpo punter. And I can tell you, he's got a big leg. He's 6 feet 190, but he can kick the mess out of the ball. But with that being said, everybody, that is the show. We did not have Mr. Mark Robinson today, but we will try to have him next week. Congratulations to him, or blessings for him. His wife is giving birth as we speak, so we'll get him back on. But this has been the show, and the prospect draft show, preview show. It's growing, it's continuing on, and we're just looking forward to keep this thing rocking and rolling as we move towards the NFL draft in late April. So I got to thank all of you for tuning in. We love you. Stick with us. But this has been the Prospect Preview Show from the NFL Draft Bible and Sports Illustrated.